You may remember from a previous film this, because Fanatec, as you may or may not know, do all sorts of different steering wheels for different classes of race car, different buttons and switches and things on them. And it's possibly a wormhole we're going to end up going down anyway, because why not? And already the madness has started. Hello and welcome to another edition of our Wolfie's Wheels. In this one, it's a sim racing based one again, and today we're looking at some newly acquired gear from Fanatec, which is bought and paid for. It's not a freebie or anything like that. It's all my own hard-earned cash going into their products. In the previous video, you saw me unboxing new steering wheel and direct drive stuff, and I said, as you saw in the little trailer at the beginning, that I'm probably going to end up going down the wormhole of steering wheels, and of course I have. And to be fair, that sort of was in my mind even before the original lot of stuff had arrived, what with it taking from November to March to get here. But anyway, the wheel that I was after at the time was the Formula V 2.5 wheel, which as soon as I decided yes I was going to invest in one, went off the market, and you couldn't get hold of for love nor money. They were out of stock at Fanatec. And Fanatec, as you will probably know if you follow this sort of thing, we're going through all sorts of financial restructuring, chief executives being sacked, a lot of problems with deliveries and with the logistics side of the business, getting the product out to the customer. But none of that actually put me off, because I can be a patient sort of guy, which as it turned out is just as well. But anyway, eventually the Formula V 2.5 steering wheel came back into stock, so I got my order in and it arrived yesterday, although by the time this film is released it will be probably about a fortnight ago. But I'm going for scheduled releases rather than do a film and get it all out at once. And of course I could wait until much nearer the time and unbox the stuff then to see what it's like, but I'm not that patient, so I actually want to unbox it also. The only way of really getting it dealt with is to do the film today for release at a future date. So I was actually away from home when the wheel was due to be delivered, but then there was a subsequent delay by UPS, who are the chosen courier service of Fanatec, and I arrived home in time to find a card had been put through a letterbox telling me that the parcel had been left at a local newsagent's and I needed to go and collect it, which was great. However, when I got there and looked at the box, as you can see in these pictures, I was slightly worried, because clearly the box looks like it's been opened. It looked like it had been kicked around the floor, and who knows whether actually anything was in the box or not. But luckily it was, and the box contained everything that it should do, which is a QR 2.5, quick release 2.5 adapter, a set of buttons for putting on the steering wheel, and of course in this box here, slightly rattly, hopefully it's not broken, the steering wheel itself. So without further ado, what we'll do is we'll actually unbox everything and just see what it's like. First package we're going to open is actually this one, which is the buttons and things for the steering wheel, because the steering wheel has got loads of buttons, which we'll look at in a minute. And to be honest, it's the number of buttons and how you can assign them on the game, particularly Assetto Corsa Competizione, which is what attracted me to the wheel, because the current wheel which I've got, basically I've run out of buttons on it. I can't do everything I want to do while I'm racing. So I needed a button that did a bit more, a wheel that did a bit more. And I thought the Formula 2.5 looked good. Anyway, so we'll open this one to start with, and we'll just rip it across the back. And I've actually bought some of these buttons separately for the other wheel, and they are very good. So in here you get a number of buttons of different colours, putting on the wheel, a pair of tweezers so that you can put on the various stickers. Hopefully I know that in focus. Can't see because I'm only working on a very small screen on the camera, so I'm not entirely sure whether it's in focus or not, but they do things like you can see curves button, pit mark, pit limiters, look right, look left, ignition, and all sorts of stuff. Anyway, and they go on these buttons here. So that looks perfectly good and intact, even with some silica gel, which I'll have to keep out of the way of the dog, who is resting on the settee behind me. Next thing we've got is the QR2, Quick Release 2, and this is what is needed to attach the wheel to the wheel base. And it's a bit of a shame because I think, as far as I'm aware, they all come with a QR1, which of course I don't need. So I've had to pay extra for the QR2, and they're trying to push you down the QR2 route. So I think it's a bit of a con in some ways that you have to spend like another 80 odd quid for the adapter that they're trying to get you to use. It'd be nice if they actually included this as free. But here we go, QR2 wheel slide. I can't get in it yet. So that, open that, open that. Oh, it's really nicely packaged. And here you go. Just take it out. Perhaps. More silica gel, nice. QR2 wheel slide, so basically this side of it bolts onto the steering wheel, and then this side of it, you pull that bit back like that, and it slides onto the steering wheel base, which in my case is the DD1. So that's all good, it's metal, it's really nicely made, excellent. And in there you get as well the various little screws and tools that you're going to need to attach this to the back of the wheel. So nice and complete. And of course with the QR2 you get idiot's guide as to how to attach it to the wheel, and it's all here. It's pretty straightforward anyway. We get to the pièce de résistance, which is of course the V2 wheel, which hopefully is in this box. Yeah, it did seem a little bit rattly, but I think it's all right. So let's just open this up with the, carefully with a knife and get in it. So, maybe not the world's safest way to use a knife. I'm trying to do it in front of the screen so you can actually see what's going on. Here we go. This is the first time I've seen it as well, as you can imagine, because it is literally unboxing it. Fanatec. Let's take it out of that box. The inner box. Here we go. Club Sport steering wheel Formula 2.5. There you go. It says on it, if everything seems under control, you're not going fast enough. Now, I've heard that before. I don't know whether it was Sterling Moss or someone like that, but yeah, it is a famous quote. And instructions. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Let's take this out of the box, attached by the box. 1, 2, 3. It's in its nice little container. Because of course you do end up having multiple wheels, so you do need to keep them dust free and what have you. I just can't get in this at the moment, so talk amongst yourselves when I try and work out how to do this. There you go. And for the first time, here we go, unveiling of the Formula 2.5 wheel. Yep. There. So loads and loads and loads of buttons on it, and these things here which you can use to do things like change brake bias. You can assign anything you like to these buttons, and I will do a video about what I've assigned to what and why, etc. at some future point. Here we go, and you've got these rotary switches here, lovely carbon fibre, you can probably see there, is actually a proper carbon fibre plate. Nice action on the shifters, and yeah, marvellous. There you go. So you know, you can assign everything, and this one being the 2.5, not the 2.5X, has actually got the leather grips and not the Alcantara, so it should wear better over time. Anyway, there you go. That's all unboxed. That's what it all looks like, and later on in this video we'll talk about the buttons and what I've assigned to them, etc. It's about, I don't know, 20 minutes later, and I've got the QR2 attached now to the wheel, which was extremely straightforward. It literally just didn't show you because it just bolts on 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So wasn't really that exciting to put on film. And to be fair, there have been plenty of videos on YouTube when the QR2 and this wheel came out, which is probably about 3 years ago now, showing you sort of how to do that sort of thing. Not the purpose of this, it was more a question of unboxing it and maybe sharing some of my excitement, I don't know. Anyhow, next thing is we're going to bung it on the computer, and then we'll assign some buttons to it. But of course, before we can assign buttons and things like that, we're going to have to do the firmware updates and blah blah blah, which is just a bit of a housekeeping sort of thing. And again, as I said, there's plenty of stuff on the internet that shows you how to do that, so I won't bother walking through that. I'm just going to crack on and get the wheel to start talking to the computer, and in particular the game Assetto Corsa and Assetto Corsa Competizione, which is what I really bought the wheel for. And when I'm in a position then to assign the buttons, that's what we'll be doing. Before we go on to updating the drivers, etc., obviously I've had to switch the computer on, but I thought I'd just show you the wheel which I originally bought, which, as you'll see, has got far fewer buttons on it, and it's this one here, this Fanatec here, Club Sport RS, and I've used a number of the buttons for, you know, start, ignition, pit, cycle views and things like that, but there simply aren't enough of them. Now, the wheel itself isn't going to be redundant, because one of the other games I play quite a lot of is Euro Truck Simulator 2, and what I'll do is I'll use this round wheel when I'm on the truck, and the Formula style wheel when I'm racing the cars. Anyway, that was just a bit of an aside while the computer was doing an update of the graphics card. Well, we've now spent some time allocating the various buttons on the wheel, and I'll be honest with you, I've kind of pretty much copied the button assignments that a guy called Jardier, who's got his own sim racing channel, one of the world's greatest sim racers. I've basically just copied what he has used for his buttons. They seem pretty logical to me, and it's now a matter of just assigning the buttons on Assetto Corsa Competizione. But I've already labelled the buttons, so that I am then not going to get confused as to what I want to do. So let's just assign some buttons. So in a nutshell, we've got look left here and look right there. We've got pit limiter just there. We've got that's actually light flasher, whilst it shows a horn klaxon sign. There isn't one that's for light flashing, and that one there is going to be for wipers. This rotary wheel is traction up and traction down. and this rotary wheel is going to be brake bias up and brake bias down depending which way you move it. This is for the lights, on or off, or main beam, ignition and start there. This is for the rain light. There isn't one that says rain light, so I just put light on it. This one's going to be assigned for brake ABS up and down. This one is going to be for dashboards, different dashboards that you've got that you can see, and this one here is going to be for the engine maps, because there might be times when you want to conserve a bit of fuel, so you might start off on an aggressive engine map, but towards the end of the race you might need to wind it back a bit, or it might start raining and suddenly the map you're using is a bit vicious. And this one here, which is sort of the joystick control, is actually, I can't put a label on it because for some reason these caps don't fit that, but that's going to be for cycling the heads-up display, so that's the bit that you can tell pit strategies and all sort of stuff like that in this game. But anyway, so let's just assign some buttons. So how you do it, you've got the game here, hopefully without any light on it. Just here it says ignition, so I want to assign ignition, so I click on that. I come down to here and I push the button, and as you can see there, it now says button number 9. Okay, starter, start, so it's now button 22. Pit limiter, I want this one here. Button 4. Toggle wiper, so there's the wipers. Button 7. So what we'll do next is we'll just take this out for a spin for the first time ever. See how we get on. Okay, so here we go. So ignition on, start the engine, and here we go for a quick lap of Watkins Glen. Oh. Take the limiter off. So this is a car I'm not particularly used to driving. With the new steering wheel, but all the buttons you can see are set up, so nice gentle outlap. This is the Porsche GT2 RS2, I think they call it, but we'll have a quick look at some other footage of the car at some point. And so the lap went on, so I won't bore you with that. But anyway, suffice it to say, the new steering wheel unboxing went well. It's very pleased with it. I don't think it's going to be as much of a game changer as the V3 pedals were, but nevertheless, it was all in the box, and I was very concerned, as you saw at the beginning, when I saw the state of the outside packaging. Anyway, if you liked the video, first of all, I'd like to say this. Thank you so much for watching. It is very much appreciated if you made it this far. But if you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. And also make any comments, share it with your mates, whatever. Now, here's a question for you, which you might want to put in the comments below. I mean, sim racing is another of my hobbies, and I'm not sure whether or not Wolfie's Wheels is the right channel to put any sim racing stuff on, or whether in fact I ought to have a new separate Wolfie's Wheels racing channel instead, where I can put all the sim racing stuff. I'd be interested to what you think, because obviously not everybody's interested in everything that I'm doing, and I understand that, and that's not a problem to me at all. But what I don't want to do is put people off of coming to the channel because they don't really understand what it's about. So if you do think it's going to be better off being Wolfie's Wheels is for real stuff, as it were, and Wolfie's Wheels Racing is for the sim stuff, can you let me know please in the comments below? And in the meantime, again, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in a future episode of Wolfie's Wheels. Bye.